The contingency argument is one of the most important arguments for the existence of God, and it's respected across both philosophy and science because it's built on logic, not assumptions. It starts with a simple observation: things exist. But everything we see in the universe is contingent, meaning it doesn't have to exist. It depends on something else. You and I began to exist. Stars are born and die. Galaxies form and collapse. Even the laws of physics we observe could have been different. These things are not necessary. They don't contain the reason for their own existence. And whenever you have a reality made up of dependent things, you logically need an explanation outside of it. A chain of contingent things cannot explain its own existence. If every part of the chain needs a cause, then the whole chain needs a cause. Philosophers like Aristotle, Avicenna, Aquinas, Leibniz, and many modern thinkers all agree on this point. A series of dependent beings cannot exist without something independent holding it up. This is why we must arrive at what's called a necessary being, something that cannot fail to exist because its essence is existence. Now, some people try to avoid this conclusion by saying the universe might be eternal. But even if the universe had no beginning, that still would not make it necessary. An eternal universe can still be contingent. For example, if a lamp had been shining forever, its eternal shining still depends on electricity. Eternal duration doesn't make something necessary. It only means it's been dependent for a long time. The universe is full of changing, finite, conditioned things. It expands, cools down, forms, and collapses. Anything that changes cannot be necessary because real change means it relies on factors outside itself. So, even an eternal universe would still need an explanation. Modern cosmology also does not support an eternal universe. The Big Bang model, cosmic background radiation, the redshift of galaxies, and thermodynamics all support that the universe had a beginning. The second law of thermodynamics says the universe is running out of usable energy. If the universe were eternal, it would have already reached heat death infinitely long ago. But it hasn't. That strongly implies a finite past. Some argue that maybe time itself is eternal, but time is not an independent entity. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time is woven into space. They form space-time together. Time depends on physical reality. No universe, no time. And all current scientific models, such as the Borde-Guth-Vilenkin theorem, show that any universe that has, on average, expanded over time cannot be past eternal. That includes Big Bang cosmology and even most multiverse models. So both classical philosophy and modern physics point in the same direction. Time had a beginning, and it is contingent. When you put all of this together, you're left with a clear conclusion. Contingent things exist. A chain of contingent things needs an explanation. The universe and time cannot explain themselves. They are not necessary. Therefore, reality must be grounded in something that is necessary, something uncaused, independent, eternal, and the source of existence for everything else. This is what philosophers for thousands of years have called the necessary being. And while different traditions use different names, the characteristics of this necessary being align with what we call God. The contingency argument hasn't been debunked because it's built on principles that are universally accepted: the distinction between necessary and contingent existence, the demand for sufficient explanations, the nature of causation, and the scientific understanding of our universe. It remains one of the most powerful and undefeated arguments for a necessary being.